economy and society. What could bring the transformative changes we desire? Answers to this question should emerge from the national dialogue and the work of committee of experts that I hope the President will constitute. At this stage, I would offer a few observations. First, AI, artificial intelligence, will no doubt transform economies and societies, many aspects of it. But now, at this stage, we do not yet know exactly how they will transform. So this is an area that we should draw on leading global experts as Kenya develops a new vision. Second, Kenyans could become among the world's most entrepreneurial, hardworking, and competitive people if their children's productive attributes are fully nurtured. In my view, this requires a review of the formal education system in Kenya now. The scope of education and learning should be expanded beyond cognitive skills to include broader self-management and other capabilities in Kenya education that have been done. Third, inequality in Kenya is high. Kenya is an unequal economy. The poorest 20% of Kenyans receive only 5% of national income, whereas the richest 20% receive one half. Richest 5%, 20% income, poorest 5%, only 5%. Narrowing this imbalance would raise income of ordinary household and bring Kenya closer to the income growth trajectory to Singapore we are looking for. Three possible remedies deserve considerations this inequalities. One is to increase government support to people in need of help. In Singapore, the government transfers about $7,300 per person per year. In Kenya, guess how much? $220. Kenya can increase this amount. The other possible remedy is to embrace small, informal enterprises rather than dismissing them. Professor Charles Piot, my colleague and I, conducted a study of informal enterprises in Kenya, Ghana, and Nigeria. The study shows informal enterprises can grow fast, especially when owners' informal characters are combined with informal ways of doing business. They can grow fast. They do not necessarily need subsidized government loans. Privately financed microfinance can work well. Inequality should be a central element of the national consultation. Finally, corruption damages the economy and weakens the social fabric. Curbing corruption will be a truly transformative for Kenya. Kenyans often say that government tolerates corruption, and public officials are rarely prosecuted. I agree, where there is sufficient evidence, those responsible must be brought before the courts. But citizens also have an important role to play. When citizens witness or learn of corruption, they can expose them through social media. As we saw 2 years ago, social media movements can be a powerful force for accountability. So Kenyan citizens should take active role in curbing corruption as well. I welcome the conflict of interest law and electronic procurement system that was introduced as part of broader governance reforms supported by the World Bank. Priority now is to enforce those measures fully and consistently, and citizens should help by staying vigilant and demanding accountability. To conclude, the national consultation launched today will be a major asset to setting the stage for transforming Kenya to a first world economy. In this speech, I've highlighted 4 themes for the national consultation: childhood learning, support for the poor, micro-business development, and the fight against corruption. I'm confident that other important ideas will emerge through this national process. Ladies and gentlemen, Raila dreamed of a new Kenya where ordinary citizens enjoy a decent life and look to the future with full of hope. His dream, Raila's dream, was to empower young Kenyans to live their dreams. Your Excellency, you shared the Raila's dream and had a deal with them. And the deal is a new vision. Your Excellency, you have triggered the curiosity of Kenyans. Stay the course to the end, please. And to the people of Kenya, remember this: Singapore is reachable. Thank you.
Thank you to Professor Hiroiki Hino. I believe you'll probably shake hands with the president there. He's worked and advised the president as a deputy then, and now he's here to lend just some brief. We can look to what we can do as a nation. Beg your pardon for that. And the conversation continues and will be coming to you as I believe we have people following us online and on radio and on television. And this is a conversation as much for you as it is starting for us here, convened in this meeting.
Kwa wasioelewa sana alichokitamka ndugu yangu, anasema kwamba ni mazungumzo ya kitaifa ambayo tayari yameanza na yataendelea. Hapa tupo katika ukumbi huu wa KICC. Lakini mazungumzo haya yanaendelea kwenye mitandao ya kijamii. Nimechungulia nikaona live handle ya X ya Mr. President is live. Haucheki nao? Wapi makofi kwa X handle ya Mr. President jamani? Wako macho, wako na sisi sana, na nikajuzwa pia handles zote za afisi zote za Ikulu pia ziko live, na ndo ulimwengu ambao tunawishi, ulimwengu wa kileo. Nataka tujishebedue kidogo, tunyoshe misuli kidogo, manake tunajua kwamba upande wa nyuma umri umesonga, miguu kidogo inaanza kufaganzi, si ndio? Kuna mtu hapa nikimwambia nyanya mkuu Kabogo, sinaangalia hivyo, kimguu kijaanza kufaganzi. Mheshimiwa Kabogo, hebu fanya hivi kidogo. Niliwaambia ona ameshindwa. Najua miguu imekufaganzi kidogo, kwa hiyo nataka tusimame tuweze kujishebedua, lakini kidogo niwakumbushe hili. Kitu ambacho kinanifurahisha sana kuwepo kwenye jukwaa hii leo hii. Nilipokuwa mtoto mdogo, mamangu ndo huwa anaelezea hiki kisa kwamba nikiwa na umri kama miaka 6 vile, nilimwambia mamangu ninataka kuwa mtangazaji siku moja. Na nikamwambia mama, natamani nisiwe mkubwa kama wewe kwa kuwa sitatoshea ndani ya redio. I'm happy mmenielewa. What does that mean? Kwamba kipindi hicho ningeulizwa, Melody Sinzore, unataka kuwa mtangazaji, tukusaidieje siku za baadaye uwe mtangazaji? Ningesema nataka mtengeneze redio kubwa ambayo nitatoshea ndani. Si mmenielewa? Ndio kitu tunachokifanya leo. Tunatengeneza kesho na kesho kutwa ya watoto wetu na wajukuu wetu wenye ndoto tofauti tofauti. Tuwatengenezee mazingira mapya na mema katika taifa hili. 2030 imetufikisha hapa, lakini tuna hatua za mbele za kuendeleza. Kati yetu najua yupo mwanamuziki ambaye anatutumbuiza, lakini kwa wasiojua, najua pia media houses tayari zinapeperusha matangazo haya moja kwa moja. Na wanauliza huyu Melody Sinzore ni mtangazaji kutoka wapi? Ni mtangazaji wa Radio Citizen FM. Chemichemi ya ukweli, stesheni nambari... mmesema wenyewe. Stesheni nambari... Asanteni sana. Mabibi na mabwana, wachumba wanaopendana na wanaovumiliana, wanaotafuta wachumba, wanandoa na wanandoa watarajiwa, kwa pamoja naomba tumkaribishe the one and only Guardian Angel kwenye wimbo wake Kenya.
Asante. DJ. Mheshimiwa Rais, Daktari William Samoei Ruto, Deputy President Professor Abraham Kithure. Mimi naitwa Guardian Angel ama Waingo. Ni msanii. Katika uchezaji wa mpira usually sisi wale tunakaa nje ndio tunasemanga angepiga hivi ama angefunga namna hii ama huyu mtu anatuuza. Lakini ukiwekwa ndani ya kiwanja ndio utajua kumbe ile kiwanja ni kubwa. Si ni kweli? Kwa hiyo leo Mheshimiwa Rais, nakushukuru sana kwa sababu ya kuturuhusu tuwe na mazungumzo na wewe pia, na kuturuhusu kwamba sisi kama wananchi tuje pamoja kwa ajili ya kuzungumzia ujenzi. Kwa sababu nchi yetu ya Kenya ni kubwa sana, haiwezi kujengwa na mtu mmoja. Kwa hiyo asante sana kwa kuturuhusu tuwe na mazungumzo. Hata Biblia inasema Mungu ilifika wakati akasema njooni tusemezane. Kwa hiyo tunakushukuru sana kwa kuturuhusu kusemezana ili tuweze kujenga taifa. Sasa nataka tu sisi wote, kila mtu ainue mkono ya mwenzake, mwambie tushikane mikono tujenge Kenya. Asante. Tushikane mikono tujenge Kenya. Akina mama hoye, vijana hoye, akina mama hoye, vijana hoye, wananchi wote, viongozi wote, tushikane mikono tuijenge Kenya. Tuungane sote, wananchi wote, viongozi wote, tushikane mikono tuijenge Kenya. Tuungane sote tuijenge. Wanaolala tutoke kwa vitandao, akina mama tufunge maleso, tusiwatukane viongozi kwa mitandao. Let's take a step ya kuleta mabadiliko. Wale wanatoka ghetto wote na wale wa town, wale wanatoka village wote na wale wa mtaa, Uptown, downtown, round town. Kenya ni nchi ya Mungu. Tushikane mikono tuijenge Kenya. Hey. Kenya ni nchi ya Mungu. Aya, shika mkono ya jirani. Viongozi wote tushikane mikono tuijenge Kenya. Wananchi wote, viongozi wote tushikane mikono tuijenge Kenya. Hey. Asante sana. Ambia jirani yako tuijenge Kenya. Tujenge Kenya. Asante. Listen. When we say respect Kenya, show love to Kenya, peace, love and unity in our lovely land Kenya. Kenya is a land we go to love it and protect it. Tukizika tunajizika. When we say respect Kenya, show love to Kenya, peace, love and unity in our lovely land Kenya. Kenya is a land we go to love it and protect it. Tukizika tunajizika. Akina mama boy, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey. Akina mama boy, niweke tu makofi namna hii pole pole. Asante sana. Akina mama boy, akina mama boy. Sema tujenge Kenya. Twende. Tujenge Kenya. Kila mtu twende. Tujenge Kenya. Asante.
Mashallah, asante. Naomba tuketi jamani, asanteni sana kwa heshima hiyo. Naomba tuketi, asanteni sana. Ndugu yangu Mark, kama uko karibu, ndugu yangu Mark, kama uko karibu, karibia kaka mwenye upara huyo.
Everyone is accommodated, wanao vipara, wale wanao wamebarikiwa na nywele. This is an inclusive conversation. So, asante sana, Melody. Now, ladies and gentlemen, speaking of an inclusive conversation, we just want to start it off. It's not conclusive, it's inclusive. And it's not thorough in the sense we are not ending it here. We're just starting. And for that, I'd like to call on Julie Gishuru, ladies and gentlemen, who will be steering that conversation. As she stands by, we'll put some things into context in terms of the journey that has been on the screens that are around this room, and I'm sure those following us from home will be able to follow this. It is just a true testimonial from wananchi ambao wengi wao hawako hapa, but they have had the impact of the journey that we've had so far. And right after that, Julie Gishuru will be taking stage to steer the conversation that starts today. Asante sana.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How are we doing? Siski? How are we doing? Tuko hapa kujenga Kenya. Kujenga nchi yetu. I want us to reflect for a moment, and we're going to have a video on just now. But just before the video plays, I want you to ask yourself a few questions. What is Kenya? Think about it. To you, what is Kenya? The other question I want you to ask yourself, how many nations enable their people to come together in a collective conversation on who we are and who we seek to become? How many nations? Our neighbors in Africa, around the world? How many nations give voice to the citizen in the way we are about to? And so please reflect on that. A video will play and I'll come right back on the stage. Thank you.
Please, studio, let's have the video. Naonekana studio yetu hawajafikisha Vision 2060. Twende kazi.
Question anyone has asked about Kenya this year, because in 1960 a small island with no oil and no land asked exactly the same thing. They moved a nation of villagers into high-rise flats. People carried their chickens up the stairs because nobody gives up a life on the word of a government. 60 years later, Singapore is the richest country in Asia. It still has no oil. It refines everybody else's. In 1965, a Kenyan and a South Korean earned the same money, $110 a year each. Today, the Korean earns $36,000. The Kenyan earns $2,400. China passed us, Vietnam passed us, Bangladesh passed us, Ghana passed us. Vision 2030 promised a middle-income country by the end of this decade. 4 years out, the government's own verdict is one word. So a plan for 2060 must survive a harder question than economics. Why trust the future to people you do not yet trust with the present?
Hiyo maneno ya Vision 2060 is a con.
The critics are not a footnote in this film. They are half of it.
National development must never be left to chance or short-term politics.
A charter written by Kenyans, built to outlive whoever is in State House, but paper is only paper. What does it look like on a Tuesday morning? 5 million people, 12 million journeys a day, a road network designed for a town. 30 kilometers underground, 25 stations, East lands to town in the time it takes to finish a phone call. Nairobi first drew this line in 1948, and again in 1972, and again in 2014. This time it is cabinet approved, county approved and priced. 1 trillion shillings. We are growing the wrong way. Outward, plot by plot, eating the farmland that feeds us, then running a road, a sewer and a power line to every plot. One sewer serving 50,000 people instead of 500. Housing and food security are not competing for the same land. They are competing for the same decision. Living is the simplest test there is. A tap that works, a roof that is yours, a clinic in walking distance that has the medicine, a school where the teacher has been paid. The levy has taken 212 billion shillings off Kenyan payslips. By the government's own count, 8,367 homes are finished. That gap is not an accounting error. It is the whole argument. Africa's most famous slum, taken down block by block and rebuilt on the same ground for the same people. 10,000 people in Zone C and D were given 13 days and 60,000 shillings to move. The building is the easy part. The question is simpler and harder. Who gets the keys? For 60 years, farming here has been a bed placed twice a year on rain. 1 million acres under irrigation is not a poem. It is a decision about whether we eat what we grow. Galana Kulalu has been announced and re-announced since Vision 2030 was young. Here is the thing we keep apologizing for. We have no oil, our neighbors do. Singapore has no oil either. You do not need the resource, you need the position, the port, and the people. We have all three, 700,000 barrels a day. The crude, our refinery, sold back to the region and onward to the world. A duty-free port and 60,000 jobs if the promise holds. There is one thing we have never needed a plan for. The best in the world at running on dirt roads in borrowed shoes with no system at all. Imagine what happens when we build one. Sport is not a medal, it is a pitch in every ward. So the next one is found on purpose instead of by accident. 11 months, the stadiums are not finished. Nigeria turned Afrobeats into an export. South Africa did it with Amapiano. We had the talent. What we never had was an industry, a studio in the estate where you already live, and a royalty statement that is not zero, because a country that cannot pay its artists doesn't have a creative economy. The same bill that promises artists their royalties also carries the power to take content down. Half of us are under 20. By 2050, there will be 85 million of us in cities that have not been built yet. Every one of those pictures is a decision someone has to make, not a dream, a decision with a budget line and a name on it. They laughed at Singapore too, then they visited. It turns out you can build a country and still keep the chicken. You just have to decide to.
What Kenya do we choose? And we get to talk about it. We get to talk about it. If you remember the 80s, how many remember the 80s? Let's see hands. Single party rule, right? We pushed for multi-party democracy. We went into the 90s. We achieved multi-party democracy. We started the push for a new constitution. And we pushed and pushed together as a country. And then we hit the early 2000s and we formed the Bomas process. And the CKRC, the Constitution of Kenya Review Commission. I say this because so many young people don't know where Kenya has come from. The Constitution of Kenya Review Commission spent years at Bomas of Kenya in Langata, taking the views of Kenyans from all over the country, through their representatives, through civil society, spoke and spoke and spoke, and argued and argued and argued, and debated and dialogued. And we got our first draft, which did not pass the scrutiny of Kenyans. Do we remember? It did not pass the scrutiny of Kenyans because it was taken back to Kenya. And then we went back to the drawing board. And then we had a new constitution. 2010, was it? But Vision 2030 had already been birthed. And now we get to birth a vision under our new constitution. And many a time we are frustrated in Kenya. But how often do we stop to say, thank you, Lord, for a country where we can push for what we want? And for that, before I invite our panel, I want to ask us to celebrate our country and ourselves in ululation. I am so proud of being Kenyan because of processes like this. Ladies and gentlemen, leo we are all wananchi. Your Excellency, today we are all citizens. Is that okay? Thank you so much. Allow me now to invite our panel to come up and take their seats, and we will start a dialogue. Dr. James Mwangi, please come up. Let's give him a round of applause as he makes his way up. Daisy Amdani, who's the Executive Director of CRON, focused on community advocacy and awareness. Give her a round of applause. Dr. Mwangi, I didn't give your role because everyone in Kenya knows who you are and what you do. Please take your seat. Please sit where you are most comfortable. Next, let me ask Betty Maina, former CEO of the Kenya Association of Manufacturers, to come up and take her seat. Faith Beatrice, President of Daystar University Students Association. Faith, where are you? Please come up, give her a round of applause. Mwita Ian Matiko, student leader, Kenya Methodist University. Let's give him a round of applause as well. Festus Mwanza Kaluki, youth leader from Machakos, representing people living with disabilities. Let's give him a round of applause as he comes up as well. And also with us, Ambassador Bitange Ndemo. Please do come up and take your seat. He's Kenya's ambassador, I believe, to the Kingdom of Belgium and the European Commission. Please do take a seat. Thank you all so much for joining this conversation. I will start with a simple question. How far have we come as a nation, in your view? And what have our greatest achievements been? And then from there, for you, where are we going? Where should we be going? And how do we get there? Can I start with a youth voice? Faith, kick us off. Thank you.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. So one great achievement that we've seen is the development in terms of roads. We've seen Tikas for highway and Vision 2030. That's one of the developments for Vision 2030. Which is a movement along Thika Superhighway, leading to economic growth and empowerment. Yeah. That's pivotal, yeah.
Sorry, Kenyans are adaptable. When things don't work, we figure it out, right? So that's another wonderful thing about us. James, take us to your journey. Of course, you are part of Vision 2030. You have also been part of building Kenya, private sector, but also wings to fly, and development-wise, you've done a lot. How much have we achieved? And where are we going?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Jury. Looking back, we have made very significant progress, but progress is always relative. You only appreciate how far we have gone if you look at our age of 60 years relative to other economies and their age. That's how you really appreciate. But at the Vision 2030, the data was out there. We are ranging between 50 and 80 in terms of achievement of targets. So when you get 50, you have passed. If you get 80, you have done very well. So it's really a question of relying on data. Could we have done better? I think Professor feedback, because he held the mirror for us, there are areas we could have done better. And that is why it is important to formulate Vision 2063 so that we can do better in the areas that we did well, but also continue to do well in the areas we did well. But I would like to single education and health. To me, while the indicators have not really been what they should be, getting 1.2 million children to sit for an exam in 1 year and graduate to the next, that to me is a huge achievement, because we have moved from a very low number. I think where we are going is, and I was sitting next to a dream, is fulfilling his dreams. This vision is not about our generation. This vision is about our children and our grandchildren. And he reflected where we are going. And it's, as he spoke, I was amazed that he's helping us to see where we didn't get it right, that we could have been more people-centered. It's really him, it was all about people. Education, security, health, neighborliness, environment. That is all about people. Yes, we did lay foundation in infrastructure, but Adrian representing the people for who we are here wants a people-centered vision.
Very powerful, very powerful. Let me come next to you, Daisy. Tell us what you are most impressed with in terms of what we've achieved, and tell us where are we going. Let's try. Let's see if the mic is working.
Okay, thank you.
Try again. Just hold it.
Thank you so much, Julie, and thank you for the opportunity to have this conversation. I think, and I'm going to speak as a woman, that in Kenya, I think we've made significant strides. I think the most important thing that we did for ourselves as a country was the promulgation of the 2010 Constitution that gave us the framework for inclusion. And when I think of, you talked about the 80s, and there are many things that people don't know about where women came from. I remember when we were in school in the 80s, a woman could not walk into a bank and open a bank account without the permission of her husband, if she had one, or her father, or a significant male other. Women were not seen as having personal agency. Today, women are at the forefront of economic growth, you know? So that's really significant. If you look at our history, where we came from in terms of political representation, it was a male-dominated field. Women who aspired to be leaders were considered somehow wayward because it was really considered a male domain. Today, we have women at every level of our governance, at the county governments, in parliament, in the cabinet. I see here we have 2 female governors of the 6 governors that we have in our country. So we're changing the face of what leadership and governance and power looks like. When you talk about indicators in terms of education, maternal health, in terms of economic growth, I think we've made significant growth, and we need to appreciate that. We look at all the hardware that's been there, the roads, the railways, and everything. But even in terms of income generation, I think we've come a long way as Kenyans. So somebody talked about, the young man talked about democracy, the freedom. You know, I really don't think we appreciate the kind of freedom that we have in this country.
Angel sang about how Kenyans shouldn't insult their leaders on social media. The freedoms that we have in Kenya, the ability to be able to speak and express yourself, I think this is something that we take for granted because it's not available in many other jurisdictions, but in Kenya we do, and that's why I appreciate this conversation, because it's giving us an opportunity to be able to have a conversation and channel our energies towards talking about the Kenya we want to see beyond Vision 2030, but also to diffuse some of the tensions that are there, because we agree that we're having this conversation within a context of a lot of uncertainty in terms of employment, economic pressures, and all that. So there's also skepticism as to why is this conversation coming at a time like this, just a year before elections. But I think it's important that we have it now. That's why it's important that we have it now. So even the ability to be able to gather here together, to have that conversation, the president calling us as citizens to have a conversation about what the future of our country looks like. I think we've come very far, because usually it's always top down. It's presented to you as citizens, not calling you in to come in. Let's have a dialogue, let's reason together, and let's vision our country together.
That's incredible. Thank you for that. I think it brings me to Betty. Let me come to you next. And, you know, we were at the forefront of a lot of dialogue over the past 20 to 30 years. And maybe one of the most important things about this country is the ability to sit together and listen to each other when we need to, in the most difficult moments. Let's walk through for you, what are you most proud of? And now as this country comes together in this discussion, starts this process, what's the realistic, you know, process that we need to go through? And I think it will be discussed further, but this is not a short journey. This is, to tell us what you see, and ideally, where do you want us to land as a country?
Well, thank you. It's on, right? Well, thank you, Julie, and referencing how far we've come in this conversation about the future of the country. And like you, I'm actually very excited that we're having this conversation in this context, because we've had conversations about Kenya in the past, and it's not from the 60s, when we think about the futures work that was done by the NCCK. So Kenyans have been thinking about...
We adapt.
Sorry. Kenyans have been thinking about themselves. We gave ourselves a vision at independence. We gave ourselves the goal of eradicating poverty, disease, and ignorance. And therefore, we've been shaping our futures over different times. we've seen, as James has said, if I think about our childhood, when we grew up, you know, I'm thinking it's my age or slightly older, the differences in, you know, our experiences as children then, and where we are and where our children and grandchildren, because now we have grandchildren, are growing up, those are totally different society and a better quality of life. So I think we need to give ourselves credit that we are not where we were in 1963. We are not, but we are not where we would like to be. So we've accomplished a lot socially, politically. We've celebrated the Constitution. Economically, we've seen better livelihoods than we experience, education, health. There are many things that we can talk about and celebrate as having accomplished as Kenya. But we are also aware that there are things, we gave ourselves 80%. Somebody might be less generous, James, and say maybe we should give ourselves 70. So 70 gives you an indication of how far you are. And Professor Hino has clearly told us this is where you could be if you did different things. And I think when we now think about the future, we need to think about not focusing on the things that have worked. We like to look at buildings. We think development